today, for the final day of VEDS, I want to tell all of you a story. It's the story of a man and Taco Bell. So, when I was younger, picture for reference, I always saw Bowling Green as a bubble. Two bubbles, actually. One around my grandparents' house, and one around First United Methodist Church. I was very comfortable in these bubbles, and it's all I thought about Bowling Green. The only other time I caught glimpses of Bowling Green outside of this bubble were the moments where I would ride in with my parents and siblings when we'd come in for breaks, and that drive between my grandparents' house and the church. BG was this place that I just never explored. Cut to 2009, I had just graduated, picture for reference, and I decided to go to Bowling Green State University. I was now going to be spending more time in Bowling Green, and yet the bubble remained. It got much bigger, mind you. It contained the entire campus of BGSU, but it was a bubble still nonetheless. My dorm room, which no longer exists because the building no longer exists, empty field for reference, was basically right across the street from the church, so I never ventured that far off campus. One day, I believe it was near the end of my first semester, I decided that I wanted to go eat Taco Bell. Up to this point, the only places that I had eaten were the various eateries on campus, because they took the money that the college gave me for living on campus, and they didn't take any actual money that I had. But there was a Taco Bell just down the street from my dorm room. It was basically right between campus and downtown where all the bars are. This Taco Bell was very smart and knows its audience. Anyway, I had decided to go after class one day to eat at this Taco Bell. The day came and a snowstorm was making its way into town, and I was left with a decision. Keep going with my plan and still eat a Taco Bell, or just once again eat at one of the various eateries on campus and call it a day. I decided to keep going with the plan, so after class that day, I went back to my dorm room, dropped off my stuff, and made my way to Taco Bell as snow started to fall. I got there, ate my food, and began making my way back through a full-on snowstorm. I got back to my dorm, and I called it a successful day. Nowadays, downtown BG is no longer this area outside the bubble. I've been there many times now, and in fact, in my last year of college, I ended up walking through it pretty much every day to get to class. So, if I were to randomly decide to go get Taco Bell and the day came and it was snowing, would I still go? No. I mean, I like Taco Bell, but not enough to go there during a snowstorm. So, why did I choose to do it as an 18-year-old? Well, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. It wasn't really about Taco Bell. You see, that day I made the decision to take one single step outside of my bubble. The bubble that had existed around Bowling Green since I was a child. It was a small step, relatively speaking, but it was a step nonetheless. See, I've never been good at change. I find my bubbles, and I just kind of like staying in them. But you can't grow inside of a bubble. I'm going through a lot of big changes at the moment. After living in Minnesota for about 5 years, Abby and I have officially moved back to the BG Toledo area. And I don't know what's going to happen next. But if I ever get too nervous, I just have to think back to that snowy day in 2009 when an 18-year-old college student on his own for the first time took his first tentative step out of his bubble to get Taco Bell. And if he can do that for something like Taco Bell, then I can do it too. And with that, VEDS is done. It has been an absolute blast, y'all. I will be posting a more in-depth wrap-up, I promise. But until then, I will see y'all whenever I see you again.